So, we're waiting for people to arrive here in the chat and join the show here. Um, I just want to give you some good news. The moment this thing kind of released right here and started coming out, my old laptop came back to life. So we got some good news. At least we got our laptop back. We don't have to use that funky old computer that can only handle one page at a time. So just kind of giving you guys a little bit of good news as we're kind of looking at some bad news there. Meanwhile, a few people kind of join us here. We were just talking about this too. Okay. Let me scroll up here. This is 5/11. Okay. This is today. And I'll just let that play for a minute while some people gather there. Here. We're going to do an update on the G5 storm. We're going to do a little update on activity, some more definitions, okay, so you can wrap your mind around what's going on. And you'll know better what to expect as well. Hopefully you can see it. I don't have to point it out. And note, that was the region with the spire. And look, it produced a proton storm. That's usually our object that causes a proton storm. Over here, look at the plasma run over the top of it. Here, let's do that on this side. Look, the plasma run over the top of this object, okay? Before I start diving in too deep, I'm going to give it another second, let a few more people kind of file in here before I start getting into the nitty gritty here. That way I don't have to repeat it too much. Okay, so again, this is May 11th, 2024. This event right here that you're looking at is our X 5.8. All right, boom, 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 right there. This our biggest X flare so far this solar cycle. Okay, long duration. It's going to be. It's got the proton storm coming with it, so the proton is kicked up to 99%. This object, when it moves by and it creates this proton storm, last time it was a long lasting event. Let's go over to this side. It lasted for a few days. Okay, now I want to before we start getting more into this, now a few people are here, let's come back over to Solar Ham and we'll revisit this here in a minute once we got everybody kind of gathered. Okay, so let's come on back over here to Solar Ham. Quick update. My laptop, as soon as that thing snapped free of the sun, my laptop came back to life. How odd. Anyways, now we got the X Flare here, 5.8. We can do kind of our normal report. This is what I really want to touch base on. Since we talked just a couple hours ago, we only had these two maxed out bars. Now we got two more bars attached, and they're both in red. You see we had a little dip right here, and then it came back up. So maybe that's our first and a second impact. Let's see what our next bar presents. Okay. Meanwhile, while I was gone, I checked out the auroras here in northern Nevada, and we had a red glow. Nothing too fancy, but it was detectable. All right, not too picture worthy or anything like that, but it was detectable here where I'm at. Okay. And I wanted to take us outside and go check that out, but we're having technical difficulties and just trying to overcome those right now. And some spiritual difficulties. I get a little frustrated when this stuff happens, and I'm trying to bring you guys a quality show with real information, and just have to regain composure and do a couple of random acts of kindness and then I feel better and I can come back and regain composure. And sure enough, as soon as this thing right here on the left released or like came out, boom, started doing that, all of a sudden the laptop came back to life. All right, so we got all kinds of reporting to do tonight. So first off, back here, we have taken on a lot of energy. We've absorbed all this. This is all in red, so that's a lot of absorption going down to the core. All right, so we're going to have a hot core. It's going to build pressure down below eventually here. Okay. Also, what we got back is the Schumann. Yay. So if you look at the Schumann right now, it's not doing too bad. Luckily, when this thing impacted, we were streaming along pretty good. We didn't have any really like weak time during impact. So our magnetic field was standing strong when this impact happened. It handled it pretty well. I don't see too much. Well, the pressure down below will build probably in the next day or two, maybe in the next few hours. And if you look, you can see this coloring starting to fill in right here. You see these little bars starting to get hazy right there, starting to grind again right here. That's like a little foretaste of another blast, or not a blast, but another one of these grinding sessions. So with all of this that just hit right here, we're going to see a corresponding spike over on this side for a while, okay, until we find a release valve. Now, once we see pressure building on this and we start seeing the white bars on that, that's when we should start worrying about our volcanoes and our earthquake. That's our time frame. That's a little hint as to, all right, starting now, once we start grinding down below, that's when you're going to see, the inwardly, the inside moving outwardly pressure type volcanic earthquake activity. Okay, so there's our Schumann. Somebody was asking earlier, hey, what's the Schumann look like? And I wanted to see it too, but the other computer wasn't digging it. So I'm glad to bring this to you and be able to report some good news here that our magnetic field was doing pretty good at the time of impact. This is just a little small small chirp, and it's so small that it was quickly released and went back to normal. Okay, so this line running across there is your 7.83. That's your dynamo inside when that thing's the core spinning inside of its shell. That dynamo is producing an electric field. It hums much like an electric field does when you're standing next to a transformer or you're next to an electrical power station. That electric hum that you hear is the electric hum of the planet or of the dynamo inside hums at 7.83 hertz. Okay, and that's our Schumann resonance. And it's in good shape right now, but we will be experiencing a big white patch here coming in the coming hours, maybe the next day, depending on what happens here. It could be pretty soon. So there's your Schumann. We did that. We did this. Oh, wait, we got to back out. We're not done here. I also want to see if we have any updates on our track-a-locker. No, it's still showing the same thing. All right, we already looked at that before. We can come back and visit it later if you want. Well, while we're here, let's wrap up this report real quick, and then we can move on. I have some very, very important information. Another new revelation, new discovery for you guys. Okay, it's gonna really help paint the picture for you, so you can discern better yourself. Okay, I'm just giving you tools to for your own discernment tools. Okay, I'm not telling you how to think. I'm just giving you the tools so you can use them. Now, back to this. Did it load up? Oh, I was jacking my jaws. It should have been loading. Okay, let me just try to make it through this really quick. Okay, there's your combined. You know what I can do on this computer here? Oh, it won't let me do it on this site. Well, that was a tad bit bigger. I'll take that much at least. I want you guys to be able to see these waves combining. We already experienced our first impact. It shocked everybody. Everybody was outside on the East Coast taking aurora pictures. A historic event, really. Okay. If you look all over Twitter or YouTube, there's people posting all kinds of aurora stuff. It made it down to Florida. Okay. So then we still have more behind it with probably a very similar event to what you see going to be after this. See this green patch? That's probably going to be another one of these events. So you got a 1, 2, 3. Now right here, you're going to have another 1, 2, 3, just like that one probably, or similar to it in shape, size, speed. Okay, we have a lot of X flares heading our way. All right, everything that's pumping out is pretty strong, and they're all coming out of this region right here. Also, what I wanted to point out, I should have left it there. All right, you see where it's located? That's our magnetic field line connection. I also want to address that we're not at the equator, out on the galactic or on the celestial plane in our little solar system here. We're not equal to the equator of the sun. We're kind of positioned a little south of the sun. Our Earth is. We rotate around this part down around here, not way up here. Other planets rotate at a little kind of different degrees off of the center, the equator of the sun. Okay, so not everything is totally on the one same line. We're shifted a little south. And right here is where our magnetic field line connects. Let me just kind of re-show you that one real quick with this. You guys still with me? Okay. Don't fall asleep in class. Wake up. All right. Anyways, all I want to do is use this model to show you that this magnetic field line actually arches and connects to this quadrant of the sun over here. Not straight on. Not this line, this black line. It's the black and white line. So our connection, magnetic connection, is over here in that quadrant, exactly where, whoops. Back out of that. There we go. Back out of that. Okay, exactly where that's positioned. So even if it kicks out, whatever it kicks out right here is still, we're still inside of that loop. Do this again. Sorry, back and forth. We got nothing else. All right. You see how these arches, these green arches rotate? Well, if it's still inside this black and white line, it's going to come at us. See that wave right there? I wish I could freeze frame that, but if you freeze frame one of these waves right there, so that CME energy might stay within that magnetic field line, and we'll get some of it. It'll still get directed to us. You see what I'm saying? That energy rides these lines, these magnetic field lines. So if it came out of that quadrant, where's it going to end up really going? It's like a curveball. The pitcher throws it, even though the batter's right here, the ball arches out and then comes back in. So just a quick little simple example for you so you'll grasp the concept. Not saying you're dumb and can't understand this. It's good to have a visual concept and know that right there is still connected to us. And everything that came off from this angle towards the camera, all right, everything inside this to the left of my hand here is energy going to be inside that curvature coming at us. So we're still bound to get something. Let's take a peek right now at our current auroras. We're still in a lot of flux right now. Well, a lot of absorption. All right, way up in the red. It's shifted kind of away from the United States now, and our big bubble is more over, well, China. I bet you they're tripping right now over in China going, oh my God, what happened? So, still ongoing and still very intense. Now, no matter where it's striking, blah, 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 where it's located, I want you to look at the color bands. That's a lot of energy being absorbed at the poles, being directed to the poles, absorbed, and then directed down to the pole or to the core. All right. So the absorption event, mass absorption event is on. Now let's back out of this. Here we have the D layer. Oh, now I can open up our D layer region map. D region absorption. Let's get this pulled up. Let that little movie roll for a second. Thank you guys for taking some of your time to come back here and revisit me here. As soon as we kind of update this this solar report here, our G5 solar report, I'm going to get back into what we were talking about a few minutes ago, or a couple hours ago. All right, so there's your, I want to get the bar in there too. Can you see the bar at the bottom? Barely make it out running down here. Okay, so we'll just let the, halfway through the day, just a little reminder of all the energy that we've taken in today, that we've absorbed today. Okay, so it's important. I'm a stickler for absorption. It doesn't matter if it's a small CME, if it grazed us. Did we take on energy? Because it has consequences down below. All right, so that was the end of your loop. So there's your full D region. You know, this top part's all lit up, bottom part's all lit up, just because of the the G5 storm. Now let's back up a little bit. We also have the proton storm as well. Whoops, where'd it go? Bingo, what's his name? Over here, all the little sparklies. Once this thing releases, the proton event storm. And look up here, you can see there's something going on up in that one too. There was a couple of big objects that passed there, not just the obvious one that we saw. That upper one looked like something too. Let's let this kind of reload here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Whoa. Let me pull this down just right for you guys. Let's get it right there. Wow, can you guys see that? That was a big, huge, round, black object right back in there. All right. Now, maybe some of you can't see it, or, think it's just the CME and the shape of it and stuff. Now I want to do something else here in a second, and we'll describe what the silhouette effect is. And I wanted to name and title this silhouette effect, but we're just going to get into it. Just some pictures of auroras that people are sending in already. Pink and red, that's intense. Usually it's green. Well, the gases kind of indicate what color it's going to be, but it's usually a pretty strong storm to make some red auroras, okay? All right, so I think we've covered pretty much all of that. Oh, over here, just wanted to take a peek. We didn't really get over here, but remember we saw earthquake activity in this region off of Japan, and that's our hot spot right there. Here's our region out in the Pacific, Tamumasi right here, biggest volcano. Now we got something even bigger kind of growing out off the west coast there. Okay. I wanted to look at Taiwan real quick. See, they still got cold water creeping in. Instead of being surrounded by yellow, it's kind of blue and, a little hint. It's red with a little hint of blue. There we go. All right, so enough of that. Enough of that. We look at this stuff too much anyway. So back to our delay. Oh, back to this now. Okay, so we also have a secondary object up here. We're looking for missing light, the dark, round, black missing light. So bigger object with that little moon off to the side there trailing along with it. So big object, moon right there. All right, and then we also have something else going on here. Let's pull it over on this side here. Okay. Now I want you to look at these flow asymmetries, the way the plasma flows over this object. Okay, now hold that thought. I want you to right here. I should have stopped. All right, so before we get, I ruined it. I should have set that up better. All right, so there's a black hole sitting in the middle of the screen. You can't see it, but pretend this little thing is a CME coming, coming off the sun, moving across space, and right in that vicinity is the black hole. It doesn't reflect light, so you can't see it. It's not until it's silhouetted. All right, that's, you see that flow effect that goes over that. Let me slow that down just a tad bit more. See how it all tapers and comes down to a teardrop? After it goes over this, it tapers down into a teardrop there. Oh, I hit the wrong thing now. Oh, I guess I hit ask for an ad button. Oh, what do we do here? Must have hit the wrong direction. Go back. All right, so pause right there. Boom. So, round spheroid object invisible to the eye because it's not reflecting light. Now, when, say, this is a CME or plasma impacts this round spheroid object, let me blinding the camera or something here. What's going on? Let's try this a little bit better. All right. We're going to go over this a few more times. I want you to see the flow asymmetries, how this stuff wraps around a spheroid object. Okay, you see how it hits and spreads out in a circular fashion as it starts to go over the object, right? So we have this ring that goes around the first face of this ball, okay? That's your damage ring as it spreads out and goes over. Now, as we get to right about here, after we've cleared the top of the sphere, we have energy that's going to taper down like that to a teardrop point and go away. Some of the other stuff just blasts off like that. But it's the hitting, spreading around a three-dimensional spheroid object. Hopefully that's capturing it. It looks like it's blinding the camera right now, but so you could be looking out in space and not even see it, and it's only until it's silhouetted that you can make out the contour and the flow asymmetries flowing around it dictate, what shape it is and stuff. All right. At this point, I want you to kind of note too, at the bottom of the sphere, we have a turbulent region, and at the top here. So one of these spheres moving through the air Is that in focus, you guys? There we go. So one of these spheres moving through air, the air would go over it like that, create a thunderstorm up on the top, and this area of turbulence down below or out in front of it. Okay, it's that silhouette effect. Okay, I'm just going to call it the silhouette effect, all right, or silhouetting. All right, so now you see the flow asymmetries that I'm talking about. When you see this, here is your same effect on the left here. Hey, that's not the right day. I guess it is now. Oh, no, I want the 11th. There we go. Yeah, we're on the wrong day. This event over here on the left. That's the silhouette effect that I'm talking about, all right? And you can't see these objects until they're silhouetted by plasma, like an invisible table. You can't see it until you throw a tablecloth over it, and it paints the contour. It shows the edges, the corners. Also, like a rock in river, the solar wind moves much like fluid dynamics. So say you got a rock in the river and there's stuff flowing over it. Okay. We were just here. Let me, where is my pause? Can I pause? Nope. All right. Hang on. Let me try to get, I want to capture the one frame and show you and kind of compare with the, what we were looking at before. Please, Lord, help me right here. Okay. Boom. Let's get, either one's pretty good. Right about there, I guess. Now what I want to do is move in on this one over here. Now, I'll leave that like this. And I'll open up another page real quick. All right, we were just talking about this and how the plasma is draping over this object, silhouetting the shape. The flows show that it's three-dimensional, it's round, it's not just a circle, it's three-dimensional, it's a sphere. You can see the three-dimensionality. Here it is on the other side of the sun, right back here. Oh, also what I want to do here, pull this way over. Hey. Whoa. Okay. You see this white plasma flowing over the top. Here's the curvature going back down. Now we got this flow escaping at the top as the curvature goes down. This is still continuing outward. We also have another moon or satellite that's between the big object right out here. And this is this whole ball of plasma. If you look, you can see the little core in the center of it. Ooh, yeah, that's what we're gonna do here. Okay, because with this computer or with this screen, I can do it. But I need to scoot you guys around a little bit here because I want you to see the negative of this, the negative image, and see if we can capture that flow asymmetry. Nope, not working. Oh. All right, now you can make out this one is separate from the other one in the back. right, we're gonna have to. Nah, didn't work. Back to this right here. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Let's brighten it back up. That's the problem. All right. You can even see these other little moons right there. I want to back it up one frame. Or go forward. I think it's this frame right there. You can clearly see the curvature of this object right here. Okay. After the plasma, flees and spreads out like that, you can still make out the curvature of the object. That's a perfectly round spheroid right there, with a little satellite attached to it that grabbed a bunch of the plasma. It's all wrapped in plasma. You can barely just make out the little core in the center right there. One more frame. Let's do this real quick, right? All right, you can also see these other little moons or other little satellites kind of blocking the backside of the curvature. There's something right here and right there. Maybe this frame right there kind of shows this misty wraparound effect. Once it clears this little side of the apex of the sphere, there's an apex on this side. And once it clears that, see how it gets really misty as it kind of tapers away? Now, this is the same flow that we just saw out of, well, let me hold that thought for a second because I got a comparison here for you guys. Please, Lord. I'm trying to make this kind of quick, keep it short and sweet, but where are we going? Oh, yeah. So last night's live, it was this one. All right, watch this. Continue to kind of watch it because these things are still there. They're just being covered by more clouds. But let's see the effect that they. All right, first of all, there was a round circular object right here. You can see the flow asymmetries as air goes over it. It's the same. All right, we'll get it in a second. That's not the main one I want. I'm just showing you the first one during this event. This was the first one I saw right here. You can see the curvature on it and everything. You can come over and watch this a little bit closer, whatever. A lot of you were here last night for this. This is historic weather discovery too, okay? Our weather is being moved by a round spheroid object that's air is going over the top. It's got that curtain down below, the turbulence down below, and then the turbulence over the top. Okay. Now later on, this small one up front got nudged by a bigger one in the back. And that's where we first start here. Let me just kind of show you that part too. Back behind. Now, when we have this, where's my audio? Where it peels away from the sun, has the teardrop effect. There's the tail growing right there. So give it a second. There's a smaller diameter one down here. The bigger one comes from behind and nudges it forward. Just let your eyes kind of watch this motion here. And I'm trying to capture it for the record there while it's still live. And you can see the tail blossoming behind it. It's the spaghettification effect. There's a smaller sphere pushing down here, and then a bigger diameter one back behind it. All right, let me try to capture this again. All right, so that's the front one where you can see now towards the end of this event, because this was a 2-hour long event. All right, now it's matured, and let's watch the motion now. Or did you even know? All right, now can you see it? Now, anybody else on YouTube going to show you this kind of stuff? See this long ribbon tail that's twisting in the air? Where do I zoom in on that? Let's go right there. Around here, capture the last little bit of this as it moves up. So we have a horizontal, right along the Gulf Coast line, a horizontal ribbon of air that's twisting in the air on the back side of this spheroid. There are no other storms around to influence this tail. There's not an air mass moving down here, moisture coming up to collide with it. This is its own separate little ribbon vortex of air up at a couple thousand feet, rolling over itself. The wake coming off of this spheroid object as it moves through the air. Okay, I've said it several times, but I'm just kind of documenting it for. Do you see it controlling the weather? Posterity's sake, and also as a reference for future shows, we can come back and reference this as an indicator of our motion and what to look for. This ribbon tail effect, your round effect. So, and then the lifting of air going over that spheroid as it moves through the air there. Let's go right there. All right, so hopefully all of you see that effect right there. That's controlling your weather. That's that same same silhouetting effect. You saw this tail right here, this ribbon tail. Well, when we come back to no, this one, please. All right. Never mind the name of the site, all right? It reveals the name of this website, but I'm more into this flow asymmetry and how the wraparound effect. You see this turbulence? That'd be a big thunderhead. Now, you see how everything came around? Let me just get my hand out of the way here and try that again. See how it shoots out a little jet when it wraps around to that would be our ribbon of air. Imagine if this is moving this way through air. Instead of something hitting it, this is actually moving through fluid or air. And that's how it's affecting your weather as well. It's this silhouette effect. The motion, the silhouetting over a three-dimensional spheroid object, the flow asymmetries. Hopefully you guys are seeing that, because on my camera it looks like it's blinding it, because it's important to see little dark patches in there. They define the flow so you can see the flow. So there's a black hole out in space that you don't even know. You can't see it. You can't detect it. But then all of a sudden, the CME hits it and silhouettes over it. All right? Pretty simple stuff. Really, huh? All right, let's keep that one that size. See that? That's the silhouetting effect. No. This one back here. So, we're seeing that silhouetting effect with plasma going over these round spheroid objects. We're seeing the silhouetting effect here with these round. Caught a good hour and 42 minutes worth. These round spheroid objects influencing the weather now, shifting it, directing it, and causing it. I'm not shitting you. Look at this. Pay attention. This is a huge discovery. This is a breakthrough in weather prediction, weather mapping. Look, we have another influence altogether. A major player in influences. Just by its sheer movement through the air, it lifts air up higher where it cools, condenses. You can see it flow over the top of the sphere, so it's colder up top. That's why the clouds form up at the high part of the sphere. You see the rotation as this thing moves through the air. Air wraps around the front of it, rotates. It's like a little vortex of turbulence in front of it. And this was crossing over Jacksonville. Was it last night? Yeah, last night while everybody was asleep, not paying attention, looking at radars, this thing exposed itself. And I showed you something similar to this the night before. You see the teardrop coming off, the tapering at the backside of the sphere, turning into this twisted ribbon of air, a turbulent wake, a turbulent, twisted, horizontal tube of air up in the air, in the air. And as it twists, it's pulling air from down below. Imagine a little horizontal tornado way up off the ground. It's picking air from down below, wrapping it over, making it condense. And you can see when I moved in there, you can see it folding over itself. Okay, there is your silhouette effect again. Yes? No? See it? I know you're probably thinking, oh shit, now we got this affecting our weather, controlling our weather. So not only is it the solar activity enhance the weather, but we got something else moving through our atmosphere. Round spheroid shaped magnetic field object, call it what you want. There is a spheroid shaped object, field, whatever you're going to call it. It's there. It's instead of calling it a spheroid shape, I'm going to call it the silhouette effect. All right, there's the silhouette effect right there. Now, say if this is a controlled object, right? And it has a cloaking device hiding it. The cloaking device would cause the air to, help me, Lord. It would help the air to condense. All right, much like water on the side of your glass. All right, so as it lifts that air up, it condenses, turns into water. You see the turbulent wake out in front right here at the front leading edge right here. It's much like this turbulent that we see, right? Here, let me back up a little bit. This turbulence right down below here, as air gets shoved down, or mass or matter in motion gets shoved down like that, is rolling backward this way and being pushed down. Okay. Oh, you see it and you understand me. Yay. I'm not crazy. Oh, because everybody else was telling me I was crazy. And I'm like, no, you're blind. No, you're pareidolia imagining things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm imagining things that actually have effects on the sun. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's reverse. Okay. So you guys can be crazy along with me, I guess, huh? Because in a world of lies, which you live in is a world of lies, a fallen world. So in a world of lies, the truth sounds crazy. So here's crazy. Okay. So the truth sounds crazy. So in a world of lies, the truth sounds crazy, and this is crazy. So that makes it the truth. I mean, I'll let you be the judge. You come over here to this instrument, damn it, you guys. Come over here and play with this thing and see for yourself. It's not me manipulating these images. This is NASA's data. Maybe they don't understand what's going on or see it, or maybe they're just blatantly let you see it now. And this ring would have gone out and been smooth on the big one, but this little moon got in the way, kind of disrupted it. So there's your flow asymmetries. Now, ow! All right, let me read something more to you. Where'd my book go? I can tell you this stuff, but I need you to see it in the book. All right? I paid a lot for this book. This book is hard to find anymore because it has real astrophysics in it, not the mainstream media Hollywood astrophysics. Okay, big difference. Big difference between Hollywood and the actual thing in space. Now, what I want to do here is, please, Lord, help me. Why am I going to do this? Okay, I see. So we're going to pull this away for a minute, and we'll get another definition here for a moment. Get this. Dr. Giles Sparrow, astrophysicist. Oh, man, that's a book. Okay, here we are at the glossary again. Let me, all right, here we go. Get you a little bit position here. Now, we have all kinds of good reading here. You guys want to know everything about space? You're looking at it. All right, what I wanted to talk about is, all right, there it is. It's a dark nebula. So let me scooch over here and zoom you in. Lord, help me. Give me patience. All right, maybe we'll have to pan back a little bit. Whoops. It's either all or nothing with the YouTube one. I think it's picking it up right. Yeah, right there. Okay. Get even a little closer. I think we can get just right up on it. So let's simplify. First, we'll read the definition, and then we'll simplify it for modern, for the common Joe. Okay. Now, dark nebula is a cloud of interstellar gas and dust that absorbs light and is only visible when silhouetted against a cloud of stars or another type of nebula. Okay, it's a dark nebula. Now, let's simplify this. A cloud of interstellar gas and dust. Well, what is gas and dust? It's matter, right? It's matter. Gas is still matter. Dust is matter. So it's matter. A cloud, it doesn't matter if it's a cloud, it's matter that absorbs light. Oh, shit. Did you just see that? Matter that absorbs light. Huh? It doesn't need to be a black hole. It could be a dark nebula that's matter that absorbs light now and is only visible when silhouetted. Oh, shit. It's only visible when silhouetted. It's a what? Dark nebula. It's dark. Nebula is gas and dust, right? Gas and dust is matter. This is dark matter. Oh, shit. There's your definition right there, huh? You're looking at dark matter. It's matter that absorbs light and can only be seen when silhouetted. Okay? Pretty easy stuff. Once you understand it, wrap your head around it, grasp the concepts, and know the truth. Okay? This is real truth. This is a very expensive book. Okay? And classes that I had to take to get this book don't even exist anymore. So I used to teach them. All right, now back to where we were. I want some other ones for you. Now, how can I lift here? Just bear with me. I gotta do a Jimmy rig setup here to get some lift. Where's well, the thickness of that should work for a second, I think. Okay, I want to pull you up too. Is that in frame? Oh, I know what I could do. Drop this down a little bit too. Okay, we're getting closer. So, let's read the definition of black hole one more time. All right. A black hole is not a hole in the fabric of space-time continuum. There is no fabric of space-time. Okay, that concept is like Hollywood, Star Trek, fake science. Okay, and the term black hole is very deceptive. It leads everybody to think that it's a hole, and in order for there to be a hole, it has to be some kind of barrier or fabric or something, right? Some material in order to have a hole in it, right? Not the case at all. In fact, it's quite the direct opposite. See, a black hole is a super dense point in space that's formed by a collapsing stellar core. A stellar core means the core of a sun or the core of a planet. Okay, it's the very core. There's no shell, there's no nothing. It's just the core. So it's the core of a star, and the core itself is more than 5 times the mass of the sun. Now, the way that they term this sounds Hollywoodish. A black hole's gravity is so powerful that light cannot escape from it. Okay, it sounds like, well, almost like it's sucking in light and the light can't escape from it, right? Well, that's similar. It can't reflect light. That's the case. It's not that the light is, can't escape. It's light can't reflect. That's what can't escape means. The light that hits it doesn't bounce off and hit your eye. It absorbs into the object and can only be seen when silhouetted. Okay. I wanted to pull up and run that little thing going over the sun real quick after reading that. Now, also, our object has it fits. Where's neutron star? Oh, down below there. Pull this back up again. Now, this is where people get a little scared. Well, when we start reading black hole and neutron star right there, is it in the frame? No, not in the frame yet. Oh, this though. Go back, I think, and still kind of capture it right there. All right, so I want it so it's readable in the screen on replay. That look good to you guys? All right. A neutron star, the collapsed core, again, a core of a heavyweight star. Would you say that that core that we're looking at was the core of the heavyweight star? Yes, I would say definitely that was the core of a much bigger star than ours, which would be a heavyweight star. Okay, so a neutron star is the core, the collapsed core, which, the star collapsed. It's no longer burning. We are down to just the core. So the core of a heavyweight star left behind by supernova explosion. Whether it's supernova explosion, however it happened, we are just dealing with the core. Post supernova, however We're just talking about the core. A neutron star is the densest known object. It's not hollow. It's not a hole in the fabric. It's dense. It's the densest known object. And though in the most massive stars, the core can collapse past neutron star stage into a black hole. So many neutron stars are also pulsars, okay? So, neutron star here, it's very dense. It's super, super dense spheroid object, okay? It's not a hole. You cannot go through it. It's like a bowling ball, all right? A neutron star. The neutron star is the core. That's the densest known object, except if it collapses even more, it changes phase into black hole. It's just a different phase of matter out of the core of a neutron star. It kept eating more cores and devouring more stuff, getting more massive. The more massive it is, the more it squeezes down. It has more gravity, right? So it's a stronger, more compact magnet. The more compact the magnet, the stronger it is, the more it squeezes down on itself, making it more dense. So it's already the densest known object, and the core collapses even further past neutron star stage into black hole stage. Okay, so our object could be a neutron star as well. Now, neutronic stars, the material itself, we're getting down to our molecular level. So there's neutrons, protons, and electrons. Electrons will be the negative charge. The proton would be the positive charge. The neutron, neutral. Okay. Now, when you have any kind of atom and you squeeze it so hard next to another atom that the electron can't rotate around it anymore, they're so tight like this, there's no way an electron can squeeze in between the two spheres, right? So now it sheds the electron. Okay, understandable. It can shed the electron because there's no room for it to orbit the atom. Once you shed the electron, which is the negative charge, the positive charge automatically follows with it. Unfortunately, that's just action reaction. So once that electron flees and exits the atom or molecule, say, then your protons automatically leave, and that leaves you only with neutron. So you got a bunch of neutrons. They're all packed tightly together. All right. There's no, well, it's so dense and so tightly packed together. There's no electrons rotating around any of the matter. Okay. So it's a new phase of matter. It's this dark nebula. It's this matter right here, this dark matter. Whoever says dark matter doesn't exist, come over here. A cloud of interstellar gas and dust, which is fucking matter. All right. I'm sorry, but I have to say it that way. You guys understand. I'm talking to the science community now. All these people that are trying to say there's no such thing as dark matter. Shit, it's all over the place. You just can't see it because it's only visible when silhouetted. It absorbs light. Your eye needs light to see it. So it absorbs light. It can only be visible when seen. If there's such thing as a dark nebula that's dust and gas, which is matter, that absorbs light and can only be seen when that's dark matter, God damn it. Tired of arguing shit. People can't even understand simple stuff. All right, sorry. Lord, please help me. I'm doing it again. Okay, we're not done yet. We're going over here to red dwarf now because a lot of people theorize it's a red dwarf. All right, the Nibiru core that orbits the bigger one, the other stellar core that's red. Remember we saw it turn kind of the red color. That could be a red dwarf. It could be both of them. Could be this as well. Now, dwarf means kind of small, so our object would be a black dwarf or something like that along those lines. But let's move on here. I want to read this definition now. Red dwarf, a star considerably lighter than the sun, small, faint, and low surface temperature. Red dwarfs live for much longer than the sun, despite their size. Okay, so it's considerably smaller, lighter than the sun. It's small. It's faint. You can see it. It's faint, but you can see it. It doesn't absorb light. It reflects light. It's faint and has a low surface temperature, so it could be seen on infrared. Now, a lot of people said that this object can be seen on infrared, and that's how they're detecting it with the telescopes, the Lucifer telescope over in Rome, which they are. Okay, they're seeing something in infrared. I believe what they're seeing is the Nibiru object that's out front, that's much more visible. It's hard to see the bigger black hole behind it. All these other previous civilizations that left us these hints and stuff, they all talk about this one, and then they show the destroyer, and they can't show you the destroyer. They just there's no like image of it, but there was this thing before it. All right. Also pulsar, because that the neutron star definition, many neutron stars are also pulsars. So let's come up here to pulsar real quick. You guys enjoying this or what? Do I make teaching or learning fun? I want it in focus too. All right, it's this very right there, making the screen. Oh wait, I can do this a little bit. All right, a little more centered. We're right here. Pulsar. A rapidly spinning neutron star with an intense magnetic field that channels its radiation out along two narrow beams that sweep across the sky. Okay, we've all seen images of the pulsar in the middle of almost like a galaxy, and it has the two spires, one coming out of the top, one coming out of the bottom. All right, that's the pulsar. But there's some characteristics in here that kind of contribute. Now, a rapidly spinning. Some of these objects that I've seen in the past, when they interact with the sun, a lot of them, when they're spinning, you will see the rotation of the plasma. You could tell that the thing is spinning. So some of our objects are rapidly spinning, not all of them. So a pulsar is the rapidly spinning neutron star, but it talks about intense magnetic field. Okay, our object has a very intense magnetic field that channels its radiation. Okay, it might not channel it right down those two little lines, but it does channel radiation. Okay, what was the other one, Lord, we're working with? Oh, it's important to know also over here. Is it still? Yeah, it's in the screen a little bit there. Let me just try lifting it a little bit better here. All right, supergiants right here. Important to know about supergiants because some of their characteristics as well. A supergiant is a massive and extremely luminous star with 10 to 70 times the mass of the sun. Okay, so our sun is very small on the scale of stars as far as size. Okay, so our sun although it's big to us in our little planet, as far as size comparison across the universe, it's very small. Okay, there are much, much bigger stars like supergiants that when they collapse, their core that's left over from a supergiant would be 10 to 70 times the mass of the sun. Okay, or the supergiant is 10 to 70 times the mass of the sun, but the core would be 5 to 10 times. So we're looking at the core from a supergiant. Also, your supermassive black hole while we're there too. A black hole with the mass of millions of stars believed to lie in the very center of many galaxies. So there are different size black holes. We have ones that are smaller, and we have ones that are bigger and supermassive. And they lie in the center of the galaxy. So they're the center of rotation, right? They're the mass in the middle, which everything revolves around. So our bigger object that we're looking at is bigger than the sun. So therefore, our sun should be rotating around it. Okay. Binary stars, a pair of stars that form from the same starburst nebula and remain in orbit around one another throughout their lives. Here, let me get you over to, well, let's pull it this way. I think we're right there. Make it in the frame. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying this. I see a few people hanging out here. All right, this is important to know. Okay, so now you can understand this stuff a little bit better. And then when someone else is teaching you and they think it's this or that, you're going to be able to go, no. No such thing as a hole in the fabric of space-time. It's a super dense spheroid ball, like a bowling ball the size of, 10 times the size of the sun. It's I called it the death sphere, right? Because it's a vampiric and it, destroys stars. It's a star, right? And I called it a death sphere. It's actually a Death Star, kind of like the Death Star. Anyways, let's get back to this binary star system. Can you see it right up there? Is that picking it up? Is that glare? Let me try getting glare off of that page. This page has a little bit of glare to it. All right. Hopefully it's picking it up right here. I can't see on the screen. Yeah, there we go. All right. Binary stars, which we're looking at, are probably looking at our binary. All right. Everybody thought this is a single star system because it's the only star we can see. Well, what if our other star burned out and it's just the core left? Uh-oh. What about that? So let's get into this. Binary star systems right here. A pair of stars that form from the same birth nebula. Okay? A nebula. Remember that nebula that was a dark nebula? So our stars were born in the same nebula. They rotate around each other, or one rotates around the other. Okay, so a pair of stars that form from the same starburst nebula and remain in orbit around one another throughout their lives. So they remain in orbit around each other throughout their lives. We all understand that part, and we've seen throughout history passes of this object from other cultures. Kind of sounds like it's in orbit around one another, doesn't it? Very good. You guys are grabbing this. Awesome. Should have done this in school for you guys so you wouldn't be such suckers for the media. These guys just feed you, they spoon feed you bullshit. is what they do. They spoon feed you a bunch of bullshit and then portray it in the movies, and everybody's like, yeah, dude, it's got to be, because didn't you see the Starship Enterprise go through it? All right. What was some of the other ones I want to call? Oh, is it up there? Can you guys see gamma rays? Oh, wait, if I drop that down. Oh, dang it. Very top under galaxy. There. How much higher do I have to come up? Let me get a different prop to stick under this wedge. Give us just a little more lift so we can read that one last definition there. I don't feel like holding it with my hand, so bear with me for a second. Ow. Oh, maybe that'll work. All right, there. Okay, yeah, it's in the frame. All right, so gamma rays, the highest energy form of electromagnetic radiation generated by the hottest objects and most violent events in the universe. Okay, gamma rays are high energy electromagnetic radiation that would kind of be what would be emitting from the planet if it doesn't release some of that electromagnetic radiation. What was the other one we should read real quick? Core. Is it in the frame? Nope, but we can do that and get it in there. Drop it down a little bit more. Drop it down a little bit more. There we go. There's the core. Now, everybody asks, what's a core? What's a stellar core? The core is the central region of a star or planet. In a star, the core is the region where temperatures and pressure are high enough to trigger nuclear fusion. That's what they believe. They think that it's the pressure is high enough to trigger nuclear fusion. That's not the case. The core is spinning. We can see the magnetic field of every object spinning. The sun itself is rotating. If the core wasn't rotating, the sun would not be rotating. If our core was not spinning, our planet would not be spinning. It's the spinning of a core that makes a planet spin on its axis. So the core is spinning, all right? The core is the central region of a star or planet, okay? So some of the cores that look small could be cores from a planet, and some of the other ones that are much bigger, probably the core of a star. And the depending on the size of the star, you see different sized cores. That's why we're seeing different sized objects, okay? There's more than one out there. We're in a region of space around a black hole. This black hole has been devouring all kinds of stuff for millions of years, and some of these cores, it rips away the atmosphere and sucks away all the dirt and everything until it's all the way down to the core, and the core hasn't been sucked in yet. It's not within the gravity well yet enough to get sucked in and smashed up against the black hole surface. So we have a bunch of planetary and star, possibly cores, that are out there rotating around. They're so dense, they're the middle. Okay, these guys think that the region where temperatures and pressures are high enough. The pressures are really high, the temperatures are really high, and they think it's high enough to trigger nuclear fusion. Well, that's not what we're seeing. We're not seeing nuclear fusion coming off the sun. The radiation that's coming off the sun is electromagnetic. Not nuclear. It's electromagnetic. That means the corona of the sun is the sun's magnetic field. Okay, just like the Earth's magnetic field projects out in a donut shape, so does the sun's. The sun's magnetic field, though, is so strong that it turns into light. All right, you always wanted to. Did you ever play with magnets? I used to play with magnets when I was a kid, and I was just baffled by that invisible force. How could it go through wood? How could it go through glass without touching the other object? Why is that invisible force? How does that work? Why is it, why is it? Well, you got to study the characteristics and stuff, and you'll find out that magnets produce electromagnetic radiation. Okay, so in order to produce that, it has to be a magnet. And I showed you everything spinning, right? That means the core spinning. Everybody's got their theories and stuff. Hey, it's this. Hey, it could be that. Oh, there are other layers in the crust where there's water trapped. So there are oceans down below in the crust. But as we go deeper down into the body of the planet, we have layers. We have the core, the central part. Okay. The core is spinning. It's hot. It's spinning. It's a spinning hot metal ball inside of magma that it just sparks fly off of it as it rotates in a bunch of molten magma. The same rotating core inside the sun projects out an electromagnetic field that glows. It's so strong that the electromagnetic field glows or emits light. So it's not fusion. It's not a bunch of hydrogen atoms, fusing together and emitting radiation. And there's got to be this fuel supply for the sun. No. The reason why it keeps burning for billions and billions of years is because the core keeps rotating inside the shell. Once that rotation stops, I asked this question last night. If our core froze up in our planet and our magnetic field dropped, what would happen if the core in the sun seized up? Well, the sun's magnetic field would drop. The magnetic field that glows, that emits light, would drop. That means it would stop glowing, and the sun would turn black as sackcloth. Not because an object passed in front of it, but just by the fact that its core could seize up inside, its dynamo could shut down. Okay? That's why I was trying to help these guys. I was going to Berkeley. They're telling them, hey, it's this way. They're like, nope, it's fusion. I'm like, no, it's electromagnetic radiation, you dummy. It even says it in the word. Nope. And I'm like, well, why did you label it that then? Why does it have those characteristics then? Well, that's just because it's, yeah. Oh, I have heard so many excuses when all the evidence, it's very simple stuff. Okay. And I'm showing you stuff being silhouetted on our, we're done with that for a minute. Ow. Pull this back up. So embarrassing. Oh, forgive my grunts. Not a pussy. I'm just almost dead is all. Imagine being paralyzed from the waist down and still walking. They're like, what? That's impossible. I told them, well, nothing's impossible with me. You just don't know who I am. Yet. Okay, I need to get this back up and going again. We'll do a little peek back at our G5, okay, which was forecasted to be G4. All right, so it surprised. It outdid its prediction, right? Please let me get into this here. Are we zoomed in or something? Oh, that's a problem. There we are. Okay. I had to leave that person on this. All right. So back to our object being silhouetted. It's a super dense spheroid being silhouetted by the plasma on the sun. You see the flow asymmetries going over it. All right. Here's the, whoops, sorry. Please pull this one up too, Lord. I wanted that photo. Here's a freeze frame of some of your flow asymmetries. This stuff scattering off the top right here. That is a clue. That's a huge clue right there that you're dealing with a ball, with a sphere. And our little planetoid was over in this position. It gathered plasma. It was right here, but it didn't block out the rest. We were able to catch the rest of our round stellar core. Okay, it's a stellar core at the minimum. It's so big and dense that it bends and absorbs light. Okay, you got to remember, a black hole bends and absorbs light. Not just absorbs it, it bends light too. Do you see light bending in there? See it bending? Why is that's plasma, okay? That's light bending because of the curvature, because of the gravity. The light is bending. So there's your bending light right there. Even though you didn't know what bending light looks like, that's what it looks like. It's plasma that's curving over the sphere. The gravity of this is taking that plasma wants to shoot out straight and continue going straight. Let me tell you, that plasma wants to keep going straight. It's curving. It's bending light. Some of the light's not reflecting off of it. It's absorbing light as well. It's matter that is can only be seen when silhouetted. It's dark matter. Dark matter is not in the form of a small little particle of an atom. Dark matter is a bunch slammed together in a huge sphere. So much, so compacted that it's actually nature's stealth. If you want to be invisible, it's about mass. It's about density. It's about bending and absorbing light makes it invisible. Okay, there's your simple, what sounds like it sounds Star Trek-ish terminology. Bending light. Oh, that's, whoa, absorbing light. It's so strong that light can't escape. It's like it makes it sound like all these little light rays are trying to run away, and this thing has a bunch of leashes on each ray of light, and it won't let the light escape. Come back here, you. I'll tug you back in. No, it's not that it won't let light escape. It doesn't reflect light. Therefore, you can't see it. Boy, you guys are just awesome. I'll tell you what. The common Joe can absorb this and grasp this knowledge, but your politician, any scientist, anybody that's book smart, that is set in their ways, and that's what it was. Set in their ways. Thank you, Lord. That was what it was. Set in their ways. Let me write this down real quick because I got something, just revelation real quick. And before I forget it, that's why I take notes. Don't forget it. What was it? I already forgot it. Trying to write it down. It won't come back to me. Anyways, somebody put it in the chat there. I'm sorry. I have if you could hear millions of screams and people pain and agony racing through your head while you're trying to conduct a show in excruciating pain is quite distracting. Help me, you guys. We're going to what? It's bending light. It's absorbing light. It's invisible. It can only be seen when cloaked. Oh, what was the part? Going to waste. Oh, help me, Lord. That thread was right there. Oh, my thoughts go so fast. I wish I could just tape record each one and keep it on file. Where was I going with this, Lord? Please help me. Okay, I'm gonna quit thinking about it. We'll continue on. It'll return. Back to what we're talking about here. Let's go check in with this. Sorry. What the? Are you shitting me? We just had another Explorer, you guys, during the show. Right here. This is our last one. This is our big one. We just had another one right there while we were in the break or something. Maybe while I was ranting, huh? Hot damn, we got us an X1.5 down here out of 3664, right after the 5.8. You see where we're at down here. This is another Explorer, folks. 7, 8, 9. How many in a row? Boom, 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 boom. Brian, I understand I too am trying to teach, but I need the physical science partner and someone who believes in true living God. Yeah. Trying to teach and what was we? Oh, dang it. I'll have to go back through my own show. Remember my own thread. We have some very high lifted indices right now. So we're cruising along at M1.3. That's our baseline, kind of, right? So any little hiccup sends us into X-Flare. That's why X-Flare potential is 75%. Oh, yeah, trying to teach truth with physical truth. Yeah, some people are so set in their way. Oh, yeah, that's right. Can be fooled. Yeah. So it's easier to be fooled. Hang on. Help me with it. Then it's easier to be fooled than to be convinced that you've been fooled. Okay, that's it right there. Thank you, Lord. You've been fooled. Okay, thank you. So everybody has a problem with that. This is like a society running problem. So the media knows that it's easier to lie to you. You are more susceptible to believe lies. We all know the Nazi trick: repeat the same lie over and over and over again until people accept it and it becomes the truth, right? So it's easier to be fooled and accept a lie than it is to be convinced that you've been lied to. Okay? So if somebody's telling you, hey, that's not how it is, you've been lied to, it's harder to get that through to people than it is to just straight up lie to them. They're more susceptible to believe the lie. They're so invested in it that if you tell them otherwise, their world comes crashing down. They were so invested in Tiamat. It's Tiamat. It's Tiamat. You're wrong. It's not Nibiru. It's Tiamat. Who gives a shit about the name? It's a extraplanetary body. It's a celestial body. Its name could be Fred. Doesn't matter the name. It's the concept of an extraterrestrial body. All right. So in this society, we have a whole multiple generations. I'm saying like 97% of the society has been fooled. And it's They would rather believe the lie than to accept the fact that they were believing a lie for a long time, because that's embarrassing. You're like, oh, I was living my life this whole way when it was wrong. So it's easier for people to be fooled than it is to convince them that they have been fooled or lied to. You see that complex? You see what I'm up against? Do you guys see what I'm up against? All right. Let's pull something else up. Let's just let that stand there and tell me that that's just a cloud of plasma that happened to form a circular shape and pattern, and that other plasma decided to react and go over this perfectly round magnetic bubble. I think is what they call it, a magnetic bubble. It's more likely it's some magical magnetic bubble effect than a possible other planetoid that has interfaced with the sun. Or possibly our binary twin, since most solar systems are binary, by the way. Okay. I know it's a hard pill to swallow, but that's why we come to this show, because at the end here, we're going to pull out of that. And let's put up some pretty images for a minute here. I need to regain some composure here. I'm getting, you heard me get worked up there, huh? That was pretty cool. You feel the lion inside me, don't you? You better at this channel. And if not, we'll work on it. We'll get you there. All right. So after all that stuff that we just absorbed, we got black holes. We got all these spheroids controlling our weather. Oh my God. I thought the wars and all the chaos presidential colleges burned down, I thought that was a lot. No, there's more going on. All right. And when when you have to deal with this realm like I have to, sometimes the sheer madness and chaos and just insanity of this world is a break from the spiritual warfare. Just so painful and intense spiritual warfare. I have to take a break from it and put one foot in the physical. You guys have to do the opposite. You guys have to take a break from the physical and put one foot in the spiritual. I'm so spiritually bombarded and in the spiritual all day that I got to take a break from the spiritual realm and the battle, the spiritual warfare. I got to put my foot back into the physical. And well, this is a fallen physical world, so I don't get my relief or satisfaction from there. But it is a mental distraction for me. So when you're out there and you're getting wrapped up in everything spiritual and it's attacking you, and you're using your, you're using your prayers and you're constantly praying, it can be so intense and just so much that you need a break from it. Okay, and that's why I show some of the maps and some of the other images and stuff to keep you guys balanced a little bit. Knowledge as well as relief too. Okay, so it's important that we look at this at the end of the show here a little bit and breathe. So everybody take a little breath and breathe. I need to breathe a little bit here too, because that was one I've been working on for so long. It's so important for you guys to understand that it's easier to be lied to than it is to admit that you've been lied to. Okay, you've been convinced and now you don't want to give up. You're so invested in it that if you changed your mind, everything else would have to change too, right? And then that's uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable for people, so they would rather just stay in their paradigm and live in their simple little life. Hey, I just rather go to work 9 to 5, raise my family, and that's it. Well, pretty soon they're not going to be a country to raise a family in because everybody was so invested in their own personal time that they wouldn't come together and fight for freedom and save the country before it was wasted. Oh, wait, there's still time to do that. But is there any courage out there? From what I've seen in chat rooms and in the media and just in society, it's all a bunch of posers and wannabes, all talk and no walk. So I don't see the people growing the strength themselves. They're going to need that strength and that courage to do something about it from another source, from the real source of courage, the real source of strength, and your real source of peace, too. Because guess what? It's in the presence. It's my presence here with you now is why you see what's happening. Now you're learning. It's not just what I do, it's just my mere presence that should bring you peace. Okay? So take a break from all the future tripping and all the stuff that we were looking at. All we were doing was learning. We weren't getting wrapped up in the drama of it. Oh, we're all going to die. Oh, it's another flare came out of the sun. Look, that one didn't kill us. The other ones didn't kill us. We're still in a major D-layer absorption, and we're watching Brian Knight live, aren't we? Okay, cool. So despite all the X flares and 75%, we're still here, aren't we? All this will transfer into, other events, earthquakes, volcanoes, and it'll create damage, but most of you here will be okay after that. All right. We have wave after wave after wave after wave. Okay. But one wave at a time. Just like each day, one day at a time. Shit, one moment at a time. My days are so brutal that it's 1 second at a time. And when you're down to noticing each second of your life and appreciating each moment down to the second, you're really living full and abundant, okay? And shit like this doesn't scare you, doesn't faze you at all. You got backup. Also, most people that fear death, they don't fear death, they fear the pain, right? Let me ask you all, is it the death that you fear, or is it the pain that you might endure before dying? We're doing some step work here for your step 4 here. So here's your question. Answer that one honestly. Is it afraid of dying and being with Jesus and your loved ones? Or is it the pain that you might have to endure before dying? Okay, now let me tell you something about pain. Pain is where your spiritual gain comes from. Okay, these images, I was holding up a camera with a shattered shoulder in excruciating pain. My heart's racing. I thought I was going to either stroke, have a heart attack, or pass out, faint. But it's pain that delivers the spiritual reward. Okay, now get this. All right. My body's racked with pain, and I don't complain. I look at it as a challenge, and you'll see me wince and fall and collapse sometimes, but I get back up and keep moving. I don't let the pain stop me. I know that it's a barrier that can be broken, and you can still live with it and be happy and find triumph through overcoming your pain. Okay. Now, when you have overcome your pain and you're not afraid of pain, you've kind of embraced it. It's just an everyday thing. Okay. Just pain. Hey, we all got back issues, knee issues, some kind of pain. And when you just kind of look at it as, hey, it's just one of those little small issues, all of a sudden, pain loses its power over you. When you endure a lot of pain and you're okay and make it out the backside, all of a sudden pain loses its power over you. You're not afraid to die and you're not afraid of pain anymore. Well, wait a second. If you're not afraid to die and you're not afraid of pain, you're fucking unstoppable. You are unstoppable because those are the two things that the elite use against you to keep you stopped. The threat of pain and dying. Go ahead, kill me. What, are you going to send me to victory? Oh boy, that was a good move. Oh, and by the way, when you kill somebody and you send them to victory, well, that kind of sends you to hell for killing that person. So now we're figuring out the rules, aren't we? And you guys have an advantage. You guys have a major advantage. You're already getting peaks. You're already getting peaks at heaven. You're already tastes of heaven. Okay? Real event. This is spiritual warfare. You are participating in the spiritual warfare now. We're doing step work. We're working on ourselves, aren't we? Because we have the propensity inside ourselves to be our own worst enemy. If we could all conquer the self, think of all the peace we could have. We could all get along and share with each other. Shit, everybody be buying each other gifts instead of ripping each other off. It'd be a matter of getting up, going, God, I wonder how many gifts I'm going to get today. I got 100 friends. I'm probably going to get like 95 gifts. And then you're like, I got 15 gifts that I want to give away to all my friends. So instead of taking and stealing and robbing and pillaging and hurting and words, we'll be paying it forward, working forward. It's really simple stuff. It's just hard to do. And you guys never had a chance. These bastards brainwashed you from K through 12. And then some of you went and paid some money to get really brainwashed. I would demand my money back. And another issue here that just popped in my head. I like the student loan forgiveness because think about that. Loan forgiveness. The student loan forgiveness. The banks did not forgive the loan. The taxpayers covered it, right? Right? So the loan forgiveness is paid for by the taxpayer. Also, they got a loan for a student loan, right? So it should be the college that forgives the loan. Excuse me, not the bank. It's the college that should forgive the debt. So I would be screaming at these colleges, hey, you guys charge way too much for intuition. You brainwash the people, and I want my money back. I'm going to take your diploma and wipe my ass with it and come open up the Bible and learn something that's actually applicable. You guys like my style or what? Yeah, I had it with teachers trying to teach and they don't know what they're doing and saying, and they make it arduous and like, all right, I want you to write 15 papers on this stupid topic. And it's like, wait, I have a more important topic that we should be covering. Oh, yeah, what's more important than my lesson? Well, teacher, did you know that the sun might kill you next week? What are you talking about? Well, I guess you need to learn something then, don't you, Professor? That can't be possible. Well, you ever seen an X-flare? What's that? Well, go take a peek at the sun. It does this magical thing where it kicks out a huge fucking explosion called an X-flare that can do damage. Oh, no. They haven't proven any of that stuff yet. Well, because you don't listen to me. I couldn't believe I went to Berkeley and interviewed the professor. And I had to walk away shaking my head going, well, not going to be learning anything from him. He can't even grasp a concept. How's he going to teach me when he doesn't even know what grasping a concept is? Oh, dear Lord. We were taught how to think, or what to think, not how to think. How to have an analytical mind, do your scientific experiment, run some experiments, document your results, the scientific method to try to prove stuff. Hey, this dude named Einstein said so. Okay, this guy named Einstein. You all recognize the name. What kind of spiritual achievements did Einstein contribute to society? Spiritual achievements now. Anybody? Crickets? Oh, yeah, he did help us design the thermonuclear bomb. Oh, that's very productive for people. Yeah. And everybody hails him as this genius who said there's a hole in the fabric of space-time. And everybody follows the lead. Neil deGrasse, you got Michio Kaku, and they got all these fancy little names, and they present them as these geniuses of the field, and they proclaim they profess this bullshit that they were taught in college that was a bunch of lies. Maybe if they came over here and studied some instruments and did some real work, they'd find out how it actually works. But that's why you guys come to me. And there is, I don't know what you want to call it, Nemesis. Let's give it a pretty name. Let's give it a fluffy, funny name. Instead of something dark and evil, Nemesis, call it Daisy or Fluffy. Oh, there we go. Hi, Fluffy. Fluffy and its little sidekick, Daisy. There we go, Fluffy and Daisy. That way it's not so intimidating. It's just the big old mean old stellar core interacting with our sun. Okay? Clearly visible there. In fact, I think we're a little too zoomed in. This needs to be pulled back and seen from a distance a little bit. All right, cool. So, we got some issues here in this society. And when you guys have this knowledge, you know, we're at a different level than most of society. People at this channel, replay, people that are absorbing this knowledge, we live at a different plateau than the rest of society. 99% of the people that you're in Walmart with do not know shit or shino about what's going on here. Most of NASA doesn't either. Our president has no clue. Most of the world leaders are starting to find out now. And they're like, oh shit, what? There's a what? Huh? What? What's going on? Around the sun? Oh shit, that's the thing that keeps us alive. So now, people are starting to find out. My Bible teacher said some of you have known all your lives that something was far deeper with God and God's word, yet the preachers who were wicked did not teach the spiritual word of the Almighty. Yeah. Well, here's a good question for the whole audience and for the world. What's your definition of spirituality? Is it believing in ghosts? What is spirituality? What is spirituality? I'll tell you what, when you've endured some pain and you've overcome some obstacles and you've learned and you've got wisdom from them now and it's made you tougher, well, that's some knowledge, that's some experience right there. Makes you tougher, stronger. You learn to look at life in a different way. It's all about perspective. The people that are stressing are killing themselves with their own thoughts. They're stressing so hard. And you know, looking at this, you're looking at your death, possibly. Not your death. It'll be your graduation. Okay, so when you see this, it looks all scary and mean. What do you mean it's gonna die? Oh, you said I'm gonna die. Yeah, we all die eventually. That's what life is. It's life and death. Okay. You are going to proceed on to a better place. So look at it that way. You're in a marathon, you're at the last closing laps here or whatever, exhausted, waiting for this race to end. Well, when it does, there's a reward after it, and there's your finish line flying by. It's really close by. Well, it looks like I guess we got to do another lap then. Didn't happen then. I guess we get another lap. Another lap around the Death Star. But it'll be the transition star, not death. No more pain, no more tears, no more war, no more stupidity. And this having this knowledge, unlike 97% of the society, you're probably finding frustration as you move about society now. There was a smoothness to your life before you entered the spiritual warfare. And now that you can see from this perspective and know your destination, you see everybody else that's, for lack of a better term, zombies. They're the Walking Dead, referred to in the Bible. Everybody thinking, oh, the dead are going to rise and come up out of the ground and start walking around. No. The spiritually dead. They're walking all over the place. Shit, they're driving around on their cell phones. Spiritually dead. They're zombies. They have no idea what's going on. They don't care either. They're too wrapped up in their little lives, self-centered lives or whatever, too involved in their selfies. Well, that angle of me didn't look too well. I think I need to take 4 more from this way. And, if you could you come over here and take a few pictures of me, please, with my phone? The narcissistic, self, how those people have no clue what's going on. But you do. How blessed are you? This is a gift that I give to you guys. My channel is not monetized. I give this stuff away as a gift. These are real images. Imagine the value of this, say, in Hollywood, right? I mean, I could sell this for millions. This is the priceless information. This is 2,000-year-old prophecy come true. This just validated everything. Game over. Well, it's already over. It is finished. It was finished when he died on the cross. But here we are. Now you guys have peace. You have the perspective now. You hear my voice. You see me in the clouds. This is me in the clouds. You are caught up in the moment. We're talking. You're caught up with this image of the clouds. It's kind of fascinating how this is happening. So you're caught up. This is me in the clouds. You're caught up with me in the clouds, aren't you? Oh, there's no word rapture in the Bible. Everybody uses that term. Everybody who uses that term, unfortunately, is going to be disappointed because you're not going to fly up into the air. Right? Because that's what their expectation was, because they were lied to, right? But if you read the Bible, it says, you will see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. The crown signifies power and great glory, doesn't it? So you'll see me coming in the clouds. When you lift up your head and you see me coming in the clouds, you will be caught up with me in the clouds. You will meet me in the air of cyberspace. How are you supposed to say the term cyberspace 2,000 years ago? Yep, you're meeting me in the air, but it's not way lifted up into the clouds like Hollywood portrayed. You didn't get beamed up, Scotty. Oh dear, it's not Star Trek. We didn't get beamed up. I am over this, Jesus, then. My rapture didn't happen. Well, rapture is not in there. Read what's in there. Caught up in the clouds. What does caught up mean? Oh, caught up in the moment. It's so fascinating. Everything else it doesn't mean anything. You're caught up in the moment. You're caught up in the song at the time. It's playing the very favorite part of your song. You're caught up in that song at the time. There's a movie. You've been listening to every word. It's the cliffhanger. You're waiting to see what happens. You're caught up in that movie. Everybody's wondering what the term caught up means. It doesn't mean lifted up into the air. It means fascinated. It means intrigued. Harpazo does not mean leaving your body and flying up into the clouds. It does not say that anywhere that you're going to do that. But everybody interprets it that way. And they're like, oh, the rapture is going to be coming. The rapture should be any day now. Oh, it is. The rapture is right now, isn't it? Isn't it? The rapture is right now, isn't it? And you guys did not miss out on it. You should feel happy that you did not miss out on it. Sorry you didn't fly up into the air like Star Trek or freaking Disneyland. But isn't this magical? Isn't it magical? Knowing now your faith has been answered. Knowing. Seeing me and hearing my voice. Look, come here. Put some light on my ugly mug. You guys need to understand this. I don't like to go proclaiming this stuff, but it's important. This is for your peace of mind. Can I have reverse image on this stream, please, Lord? Where is reverse? Trying to reverse the camera here. No, I don't want to cancel. I'm trying to get the camera to turn around and look at me again. Because I was going to show you I'm a real person. How are you supposed to meet God face to face? Well, he's got to have a face. Well, if he has a face, that means he must be in a fucking skin suit, huh? Sorry I'm cussing, but I just get frustrated with everybody's interpretation. Just read it. It's very simple stuff. Jesus came as a man before. He's going to return as a man. You are in the flesh. You're created in his image. He's not going to return as a cloud. Jesus is the Word made flesh. He's the living God. Well, in order to be living, that means you must be in a skin suit, right? Say if you're dead, well, you leave your skin suit, right? So in order to be alive, that means you must be, your consciousness must be residing in a skin suit. That is the definition of being alive. So he's a living God, means he's a man walking around in the flesh, just like you guys are. Why would it be any different than it was last time? See my face, hear my voice. Hopefully you hear my character, because that's what it was all about this whole time. You were supposed to study and learn the character traits. So when he comes back, you'll recognize him. He said, nobody will recognize me. Will I find any faith at all? Huh? I got, 29 people in here with some faith? That's all it takes to save the world. Be 5 people, could be 10 people. You could be the 29 that change history. Did you know that? Go read about it. You'll find out how much power these 29 people that are sitting live right now, even the people that watch this later on, 300, 400 some odd views will get. All right. Important that you understand your part, especially when we got this activity going on. All right. Quick little update here. We had our X-Flare here. I want to pull this up. I'm bouncing around a little bit tonight. I got to, it's already getting late or early. I want to see X 1.5 and ended at 7. Okay, so you can see our little beginning, the current, the beginning, it started off at M1, maxed out at 1.5, X 1.5, and it ended at an M7.4. So there you go right there, another X flare. As if we were not just talking about this one. And then surprise, boom. And then we're okay, surprise. Let's talk about our latest breaking surprise. Surprise again. Oops, before you even got to comment on this one, there was another surprise again. So, very volatile sun, very active. X flare, X flare, X flare, X flare, X flare. There's one M flare. Well, all these little ones, but out of all the major eruptions here, only one is an M flare, and they're all rest are X flares. So very volatile sun. And that is your little update right there, 75%. Here's our latest one tacked on. Region 3664, beta gamma delta, the monster that just keeps throwing up. All right. It's not the sun. But at least people thought the sun was burping out. Well, it's thermonuclear, right? So we're seeing fusion, and it's burping out leftover helium after a fusion reaction or whatever they think. No, clearly we have some spheroid-shaped objects, and just because you can't see them with the naked eye, your eye doesn't cover the whole spectrum. But the flow asymmetries, if you study how fluid dynamics, your brain's already programmed with it in there. You just look at the motion. Your eyes were built to detect motion. So look at the motion and tell me what you see. Is that a magnetic pocket that just kind of burped up out of the sun? Or is that an object that's passing next to it and the plasma reaches out to it and silhouettes our object? Because if yours answers the first one, you should work at NASA. You're smarter than those guys. And just let that sit there and let you absorb that for a second. Okay. You can even see the magnetic field around the other object. You see the concentrated plasma in the core, but look at the faint aura around that core. See that little faint aura? You can see its magnetic field around that other one too. How you could not? Well, they can't see it because the idea never crossed their mind. They're so invested in the light. They were told and taught in school. They were fooled. And when somebody like me comes along and tells them, no, you were wrong, you've been fooled, you were lied to, well, it's easier to believe the lie than it is to be convinced that you were lied to, because then that's embarrassing that you fell for it. You fell for it, right? You hook, line, and sinker, you got fooled. You were deceived, right? So immediately the wall goes up called denial. We're going to talk about denial in our step work as well. Okay. The big monster in the room, denial, and we all have to deal with it. We all have denial. Okay. And as you do your step work, you will come to leave denial behind, accept hard, honest truths, and then God grant me the serenity to accept the truths that I cannot change, the courage to change the people I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Can't change everybody, but you can help some people. Yeah, it's all the sparkles of the proton storms, and even particulates, particles. We'll talk about it later. Some of these particles, okay, proton storm, you're seeing electric discharge affecting the lens of the camera. We also have debris around certain objects, a debris field, right? So, proton event, sometimes debris field. Some of those protons are the size of a school bus. Pretty big proton. Okay, there's your activity. I know I get sick to my stomach after watching that for a minute. All right, so I think we covered a lot of stuff. There's your silhouette flow. All right, and that teardrop effect, how it came back to that, we captured in our in our weather. Oh, come on. Right here towards the end of this video, right here. All right, there's your silhouette effect, the flow going over it, coming back on the backside of the sphere, creating this vortex tail. There is your classic silhouette signature shot right there. Not only are these things interacting with the sun, they are now interacting with the earth and controlling the weather, manipulating the weather, we'll say. Now, do you think that's a man-made sphere that's doing that? Wouldn't we use like NexRad radar to, cloud seeding? So it's not man-made then, huh? And if it were radar sight, it'd be positioned in one spot, right? Why is the circle moving? Unless they perfected how to make some magnetic bubble in the middle of the air. But then why would you take said magnetic bubble and ruin your military sites with it? Because these are more than just magnetic bubbles controlling weather. They're weapons too. You don't know in the background, like I do, the damage that's being done to certain places because of, well, what they do. And they're hidden, they're quiet, they're businesses, they're places that, seem nonchalant, non-suspecting. Okay, so a lot of stuff that you don't know about is actually being taken care of right here by these objects. These objects are like weather weapons. God uses, he can use Mother Nature or Father Nature to wage war without firing a shot. I don't know. What do you think? Pretty cool discovery, though, huh? Pretty cool discovery. You guys are going to be able to read the weather a lot better now, right? You'll have an advantage over some of these other people. And when you see a spheroid thing, object like that, I've already seen a couple others since this. Today there was one moving through what was it? Northern Minnesota or something. There's a small little twist in front way up there. And sure enough, you could see the spheroid shape. All right, it's not cookie cutter, but the rotation, the movement of the air are silhouette defines it. See how the up front, the turbulent air right at the edge of the sphere? See it stirring up right there? So, new phenomena in the weather. You can decide whether it's man-made. We all know this, God's handiwork, okay? And the same teardrop twisted little effect that we're seeing from the silhouette effect, much like this one right here. Black hole absorbing light can't be seen until plasma reacts with it. It drapes over it, silhouetting it much like a tablecloth, wrapping around, dissipating into a little jet. See how it accelerates when it condenses really quick toward the end there? Let me just run that again. And this is a great channel. Come over there, give them a thumbs up. They do a lot of our weather videos that I use from this channel, so we owe them. But that fluid motion right there, you see how this turbulence grows up here? That would be your thunderhead growing up at the top. When air goes up over the top, it's colder up here, so it condenses, turns into a big old thunderhead while this thing moves through. Down below, we got activity, turbulence down here. And then you see this ring of turbulence. Now, let's say the plasma isn't moving over it. The sphere is moving through some water, and it's draping over it. It's painting the sphere as it's moving through it. Okay. So as the sphere moves through the air wraps around it like that. You get these turbulent clouds up top, turbulent clouds down below, and this little come together jet that comes out the back. So, I don't know, Nobel Prize in physics, science, religion, I don't know, spirituality, history. I don't know. I just love sharing this stuff with you guys is all. And I'm sure you guys love it too. You're blown away and fascinated. So again, what you don't know, but I'm going to point out to you is this is fascinating stuff. It's just like, whoa, what's going on? It's clear something going on here. All right. It's super fascinating. And it's clouds. Really, we're looking at clouds. It's fascinating. We're caught up. Oh shit, we're caught up in the clouds again, aren't we? Are you caught up in the clouds again? See, brand new perspective. You're rapturing right now. It's that wonder, that amazement. That's the feeling inside you. All right, your faith is being perfected and honed. It's being now your knowledge. You have wisdom. Okay, it's the spiritual awakening that's going on inside you. That's the rapture, is the spiritual awakening that you're experiencing here at this channel with me. Okay, you're caught up in what you're seeing here, what we just discovered, because it's identical to what we've been watching on this whole channel the whole time, taking place in our weather. Swallow hard. Denial, beat that denial wall down and start accepting the fact that our weather we have a new factor in our weather. I'll let you be the judge of that as well. Okay? That's the nice thing about this channel, is we kind of, we let you practice your willpower here too, okay? You have free will here. I help show you certain ways, and you either have the discernment or you don't. And the more you hang out here, pretty soon it'll grow on you and you'll get it. Look at this lady sitting there praying. See it in the yellow? She's sitting like Indian style with her hands up praying right there. The meditation one of these nights we'll do a guided meditation with you guys. We'll put on just a little something soft in the background and some breathing, and I'll take you to the beach in Fiji. You guys want to go to the beach in Fiji? Yeah, I can make a visual image in your mind, and I'll take you right there, and I'll be sitting right next to you, drinking a Mai Tai on the beach in Fiji. How about that? So one of these nights we will shift gears and do some guided meditation. It's not the guru type meditation that everybody thinks that it is. It's some of you have probably done guided meditation before. Somebody close your eyes and somebody describes the scene and you visualize that scene in your head. And as you're visualizing, what you don't realize is you've stepped out of reality. You've forgotten about everything around you and you're in your meditative state. You've stepped out for a minute and put all the stresses behind, and now your focus is on something else that's positive, soothing, instead of negative and disturbing. So after the show, even when we go back to this image, we should be finding peace and stuff, but it can still be disturbing. All right, so it's important to get a little time away from this channel too, and be out in nature, get some sunshine on your face, breathe some fresh air, step away from the news, have a little slow time, some downtime for yourself for a minute. I wish I could take my own advice and get some downtime for myself, but my downtime is right now being with you guys. This is when I'm at my peaceful state, is when I'm with you guys. I really didn't have a reading tonight. I wasn't going there with that tonight. We were just doing a update on our G5. All right, everybody was wincing at a G4, going, "Oh God, that's gonna be a big one," and it exceeded expectations. It's an overachiever. We got G5 out of it. And we continue to receive X-flare impacts while enduring a G5 geomagnetic storm. And we're all living and breathing still here. So you want me to tell you about the 5-in-1? It sounds weird. You guys here, I've told you enough about me. I've tried to be open and honest about all this with you. So it goes into the honesty and trusting me part. So, this was kind of shown to me by an angel. Okay. I did not make this up myself. First of all, the Holy Trinity is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, right? That's a Trinity. That's 3 right there. Okay? But Brian Knight is God and the devil all in one. So the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, tack on the devil, all inside of one personality, one person, Brian Knight. That would be the 5th. 5 characters in one, the 5-in-1, the hand of God, the 5-in-1 hand of God. Capiche? Comprende? Can you wrap your mind around that? I have to, and it's not easy. It's the spiritual warfare. And you guys are going to go through too. So that's why I'm giving you the tools, the knowledge, skills, the perspective. So stuff like this, you'll embrace it. You'll embrace the pain. Pain won't phase you anymore. You'll grow from it and you'll embrace it. It's something I pointed out to this doctor one time. He says, why do you, why continue on in the pain And I said, well, I like the pain. And he goes, oh, no, you're sick. We need to get you some help. Nobody likes pain. And I said, I beg to differ with you, Doc. I bet you when you were a kid, Doc, when you were losing a tooth, you would wiggle it and play with it and push on that nerve and reactivate that tooth and make it. Well, yeah, that was because I was losing a tooth. I said, but when you touch that nerve, it induced pain. And you kept doing it over and over again, looking for the pain reaction. You actually were inflicting pain on yourself and enjoying it. And he was like, what? How'd you do that? I go, all right, let me show you another one that you like pain. Have you ever gotten a mosquito bite, Doc? And he's like, oh, come on. Everybody's had a mosquito bite. I said, they itch, right? He says, yeah. I go, well, that's pain. Well, yes, of course it is. I said, very good. So when you scratch it, you are doing damage, right? You're tearing up the skin, you're doing damage, you're exciting the nerve. It might seem soothing, but you are technically inflicting more nerve stimuli, pain. You're scratching. You like it, don't you? You like pain, don't you? And you didn't even know. And the doctor just kind of said, oh, well, So, new perspectives, new ways of looking at it. You already like pain. Quit fighting it, embrace it, accept it as a red badge of courage. Every time you're experiencing pain, you're overcoming something. If you can continue on and that pain hasn't stopped you and you're sitting there in your pity party, oh, it hurts, oh, it hurts, oh, ow, ow, ow. So what if it hurts? Just keep moving forward. Try praying about it, and you will embrace the pain. It will relieve the pain. We can't remove it, but we can relieve it by embracing it, can't we? I got so much stuff for you guys. I wish I could speak a million miles an hour and you guys could hear a million miles an hour, but we got to communicate at a slower pace than I can. And I actually get frustrated, slowing down. I lose my flow, my train of thought sometimes. That's why I got to write stuff down. But again, I want you to leave this show with this thought in the back of your head. It's easier to be fooled than to believe that you've been fooled. Okay? You could apply that with this as well if you want. That's why it's a matter of trust. Is this computer generated? Is this AI? You think I'm the kind of guy that does that with my technology? My screwed up phone and broken laptop? Nah. Nope. That's what authenticates this. And that's why you get peace out of it too. The peace that you find in this, that authenticates it too then. So if you're finding peace, being caught up in the clouds with me, we're meeting in the air together live here on YouTube. Well, I hope you're enjoying your rapture because you did not miss out. Other people will because of their perspective. All right, I got to get going. I love you all. I miss you all. I got much more coming for you. And until my next show, everybody keep your eyes on the weather. I didn't do a weather report tonight, but we will get to that another night. You're looking at all these X-flares coming in. You're seeing all this stuff. We know that there's going to be earthquakes. We know there's going to be volcanic activity. So it shouldn't surprise you. And it shouldn't shake you. You got a foundation. Though the hills and the mountains be shaken, my love for you won't. And when you know that and you have that foundation, you won't be shaken by the events of the world. you'll know they correspond with the biblical text, authenticating the Bible. Authenticating the Bible. Everybody, oh, maybe that part's not true. Maybe this part means this, maybe part. So what that part and what this part means? This authenticates the Bible. You guys are truly blessed here at this channel. And I love you. I miss you all. And until my next show, I will be back. I'm a man of my word. When I say I will be back, I usually come back. Unlike most people who flake, I'm a man of my word. So when I say I'll be back, I will be back. Mark my words. In red.